On this episode of Shiny G88's Computer Repair, I show you the AI Wireless CPE Enterprise Level Indoor Outdoor AI CPE. Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. In this video I am going to show you it's AI Wireless CPE Enterprise Level Indoor Outdoor AI CPE. As you can see, it is DC and PoE, which stands for DC current and power over Ethernet, OLSI layer 2, IP65, full channel, all regions, and fast networking. So before I get into how to set this up, the company reached out to me and wanted to have me review this product. So this is what this is basically it is a home for the home market, but you're getting enterprise level network. So anyway, without further ado, let's open it up. So you open it up. This is the wireless manual. These are what the devices look like. And so basically you get two Ethernet cables. They just happen to be yellow. You get these. These, if for some reason you're have a setup to where these are not big enough, you can actually get bigger ones at a hardware store. And yes, these are the same ones guys use on the classic cars when they replace radiator hoses. You have a DC power jack, DC power supply. This is the power supply. It's DC in there. Excuse me. And you have this. Here's the really cool things about this. You see PoE and LAN. Power over Ethernet goes in this one, and LAN goes in this one. So you're using an Ethernet port to power this. If you look at this closely, let me see what version this is. This is Ueevii 586B. 568B. That is the standard. There's Ueevii A and there's Ueevii B. This is Ueevii B. If you look at the brown and white wire, that is the power lines for this cable. So what you're doing is you're using your network switch, network router as a power supply. So this is the resistance here. This is what they call Ueevii. Sorry if I said that wrong. This is what this looks like. And this is made for outdoors as well. So basically, this is a bridge. What is a bridge? It is a wireless bridge. So basically, I'm going to demonstrate it shortly. You have these two. This, let's say, goes on a barn I have in the backyard. This comes from my house. So basically, this one talks to this one and makes a bridge between the two buildings without a cable. So this should open up. And this is really cool. If you look at the side here, it has WLAN, LAN 2, it has WLAN, which is like a wide area network. You have LAN 2, LAN 1, and power. So I just got to get this open here. There we go. And this is what it looks like. So this is a 7-segment display, and you have A and B. B is the receiver, A is the source. They do call it master and slave. That's a throwback to the PATA, parallel ATA, where you do the jumper, so that's a throwback to that. So this is what it looks like on both of them. So now let's get it started, setting it up. So I'm going to set it up, and I'm going to do the source first. And what's nice about this is, since if you see this on here, that means the wire goes through here. So if I have this outside, it makes it so the weather doesn't attack this and damage it. All right, so this is a user. So without further ado, let's get started hooking this up. So as you see in front of you, I have a networking switch. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to switch this to the source. There we go. So that's the source. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take 2 of these ports, and I'm going to connect it to this. So basically, what I am going to do is hook up the LAN, and then what I'm going to do, I got to power this on. I'm going to hook it up with the power supply. Okay, so that is on. So now what I'm going to do is I already, oops, this is B, and it's even labeled 2. All right, so this is A. And it is letters. As you can see, it does have letters, so it's next to impossible to mix up. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to use the cables that were supplied with this, and I'm going to hook this up into this port right here. Now you can use any cables you like. These just come with it. If you need a longer cable or whatever, you can do that. So now, where it says LAN, this port says LAN. Plug that in there just like that. Actually, both say LAN. So I'm going to plug that in there to match my network a little bit more. So as you saw in the instructions, I'll have to, what's really cool is I don't actually need these. These you could do by themselves. So here's how I'm going to do it. I'm going to actually I got to hook it into my router. Wrong switch. So basically, if you look up here, I got to plug it into that right there. So that's going to be, otherwise, this will not bridge the network. So what I got to do is take this, turn my router upside down here, and plug this in. There we go. So now what I'm going to do is take this one and plug it in to this, the second port right here. So it's in the second port. Now what I should be able to do is plug this into here and get power. That does not work. Okay, so I'm going to have to use that. Whoops. All right, so I take this, plug this into here. As you see, there's a light. See where it says PoE? Plug that in there. There we go. We got power. And there we go. See? WLAN, LAN 1, power. So this works. So what I can do now the WLAN, which means this has network now. So what I am going to do is I'm going to set up the second one over at my testing station. And what will be cool is when I plug, see, now I got a number 1. So this 7-segment display is working. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn it up like this, so that way everything's good. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to set the second one up over there, and I'm going to do the same thing. Now, I have this plugged into, network-wise, into my wireless. On the back of routers, they have a switch, so I have it plugged into that. So, I accidentally pulled it out a little too far. There we go. So what will happen is I should be able to run my network switch on my testing station without having to have that plugged into the network. That is what I'm hoping. So this is A, the other one is B. This is going to be really cool. Alright, so now I have the camera faced at my testing station networking switch. So what should happen is I should be able to get network to my networking switch. Basically what I'm doing is, this would be my second building. What you saw was my first building. Alright, so how this works is I take this, and I do have some other networking cables. It only comes with 2. So I got to find some other networking cables, which I do have. So now I plug this into here. Boom! Power! So just give me a second. I have some networking cables right in front of me, so let me grab the 2 of them. There's one. And here's the second one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to plug the first one into the power supply here that comes with it. So I'm going to take this and it goes into PoE. There we go. So now I am going to take this one right here. This is number B. It really doesn't matter. You could switch them from A to B, but for simplicity, I'm going by what the default is. So here we go. So I'm going to plug it into here. Right? So now this has power. So here's how this is going to work. See, if you see this, that one configured itself. See, now it's on 1. So now this is the receiving. You see, it's receiving the data. So you have power and a WLAN. So what should happen is my wireless router, my main wireless router, I have 2 of them, this should now power my networking switch. So here's how I'm going to test that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to disconnect the power, not the power, the incoming data from my main networking switch into this networking switch, and I'm going to plug the blue cable into that one. If I still have internet, that means that this is default configuration. I'm using the default configuration so that way anybody who wants to set it up can set it up the way they need to. There are more complicated ways to set this thing up, but everybody I know just wants basic setup. So what I'm going to do is power on the monitor here. And the computer I was using went to sleep. There we go. So what I'm going to show you now is I'm going to show you that this computer has network. I do not have the receiver plugged in yet. There we go. Okay, as you can see right over here, I have the computer plugged into the network. So what my plan is, like I said, to take this and plug it into the switch. Now, like I said, this is my building B, the other one is my building A. So, and it is talking, so here's how this is going to work. I have a bunch of cables plugged into the networking switch. Let me move my PS4 controller out of the way. So what should happen is, if I disconnect this, I shouldn't have any network right now. So what I'm going to do, there we go. All right, so that's disconnected. Okay, so the computers are seeing each other. That means I have no network. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take this line right here, I'm going to plug it into the switch. Now, that globe should change once I plugged in the receiver. So I'm going to take this, plug it in here just like this. There we go. So now I'm going to take this and plug it in. And as you can see, and there we go. And I'm going to show you what happens when I disconnect it. I'm going to disconnect it. The globe should pop up. It takes a little bit, but the globe will pop up. So I'm just going to disconnect this real quick because it's reading. There we go. So I got the globe to pop up. Now, okay, it came back up. So now that this is back up, I'm going to zoom out a little bit. As you can see, it is back up, so I'm going to place that off to the side here. I should be able to surf the internet no problem. So I'm going to open up Microsoft Edge. All right, so now I am going to surf the internet. So now I'm going to open up Microsoft Edge. There we go. We are online right now. That networking switch is connected to this device right here. And it has traffic, basically network traffic lights like a switch does. So if there's any problem, this will alert you. And just to be clear, this is the basic setup. I haven't even got into the device to configure it the way I want. This is just a basic setup. And I even have the source plugged into my wireless router, the switch on my wireless router. This will also work on a mesh network. So now we're going to go to Google. And we are on Google. And it's all through this. This is talking to the one on my entertainment center. This thing is really, really cool. So I'm just using the basic setup right now. In later videos, I'll get into how to configure it to do what you want and all that, but that'll be for a later video. I give this thing a 10 out of 10. It's very easy to set up. Even for a tech guy like me, this is super easy to set up because all I did was just plug it in and it kind of configured itself for the default setting. So anyway, with that said, that is it for this video. Please comment, like, subscribe, and click that bell for more notifications.